friends, this is Sharon from Mad Paper Crush. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making this cute little list journal to plan a holiday meal. So here in the US we have Thanksgiving coming up, and I wanted to have a little journal where I could keep track of the things I need to do, my shopping list, what my menu looks like, and all that good stuff. So we are going to be putting together this little journal so that you can keep track of all that stuff, and it's just the right size to fit inside a purse or a little bag so that you can have it with you when you're out and about doing your errands. So let's get started and make this little harvest menu planner. Okay, so here's the freebie, and if you would like to get the freebie, all you have to do is go to madpapercrush.com/harvest plan, all one word, don't put a space in there, and then you will just have to put your email address in, and then you'll be sent to the downloads. And so this is what is in the little freebie kit that I'm giving to you today. So I have one page of a bunch of really cute fussy cut elements, and because I'm going to be using these, I did print them on a full sheet of sticky paper. Now this is just white sticker paper that I printed it on just because I wanted you to be able to see what all of the images are, and I just think these are so cute and very fall-ish, and hopefully will inspire me to get my list going and stay on track for my Thanksgiving plan. And then I also printed it out on clear sticker paper because I thought this would be fun when I'm fussy cutting to add them over top of some of the things that I'm working on inside my little folio here. And then you also get pages with lists. So I like to have lists. I'm a list girl, I can't help it, but these are some of the lists that you'll get. So you get a menu, a to-dos, desserts list, and then I have a shopping list, mains and sides. So I'm going to put down all of just the list of all of the main dishes and the side dishes I'm planning to have. And then drinks and appetizers can go on this list. And then I have a sheet of just blank lists in case you want to do lists that are different than what I have. So I thought that would be fun too. Now I did them with little nice foxed papers behind on each of the lists, but I also am giving you 3 pages with nothing on them. So if you wanted to print them on papers, on different papers that, you didn't want to have those on, or even on, just have them white, that's entirely up to you if that works better for you. But the same 3 pages of lists with the menus, to-dos, and desserts, the shopping list, the mains and sides, and the drinks and appetizers, and a full, and this is from something else underneath there. And then the blank lists as well. So that is what is included in the freebie. And once again, you just have to go to madpapercrush.com/harvest plan, all one word, to grab this for yourself. All right, to make my little quick planner, I'm going to use envelopes for my inside pages. I thought that would be an easy way for me to quickly get it together. Plus, sometimes it's easy just to use envelopes to sort of make flipping pages so you don't have to sew anything. You can just glue some things together and you'll have it ready to go. So the envelopes I'm using are 4x6. And I have 3 of them here, and I was going to make one more with you because I just made these out of scrapbook paper. So to make an envelope out of scrapbook paper, you could use an envelope tab board, or you can use a scoreboard that is like this, that has, and this of course is all my other, that has like an envelope maker built into it. So this is a little template here for envelopes. You can make different sizes. A 4x6 envelope wasn't on here, so I kind of had to develop my own template for this. But to make a 4x6 envelope using a board like this, you start with a 7.5 inch by 7.5 inch piece of paper. So a square piece of paper, 7.5 inch by 7.5 inch. And then what you do is you put one corner to the left bottom of this little triangle that we have and line it all the way up there. And then looking up here, we're going to mark the first mark at 2 1/4 inches, I believe. Let me just double check. Okay, yeah, 2¼ inches. So I'm just making a score line at 2¼ inches. And then you're just going to start turning your paper until you have 4 score marks. So this is my first. I'm going to turn my paper, line up my point here at the bottom, and then, which would be 0. And then I'm going to go up to 3¼ to make my second. Turn again. And now I'm going to go back to 2¼ and then I'm going to make my last turn, and I'm going to do that one at, once again, 3¼ So now, I don't know if you can see this real well, but you can see my score marks here. Actually, let me just kind of fold them over so you can see what we end up having. This gives us our flaps for our envelope. And if they're all folded in, the back of my envelope is my 4x6. So before I fold it all in, there are some spots where the lines cross each other, and so I need to take those out. So I'm just going to grab my craft knife here, and then I'm going to cut out the places where those lines cross. So I'm going to have, you can see I have a little notch in there, and that'll just make it so that my papers will flip or fold over without causing any blocking or anything like that. So I like to try to cut off the little line that's created. So now you can see I have my 4 notches, and when I fold it in, now it folds a lot nicer now, and I have my envelope. Now to make it into an envelope, I'm just going to use a little bit of glue on the places where the envelopes tucks. So I'm going to leave my flap open at the top. I'm going to fold my sides in first, and then I'm just going to put a little glue down on this side of each of these so that when I put my bottom flap up, it will hit that little line of glue that I'm putting on here. So it doesn't have to be exact for this. And then I'm just going to hold it a minute until it kind of takes over, because I don't want it to kind of puff up, if you know what I'm saying. Maybe just put that on there for a second. All right. And we'll let that dry for just a minute. Okay, this is pretty dry now. And normally I might want to have, this whole side decorated. I might want to cut this little flap off. But since I'm going to cover it up, I'm not really worried about that being there like that. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little distress ink to that top flap crease. And just a little bit on both sides, because when I glue down some of my lists, then the white won't show so much. So I'm not going to be real precise about this. I just want both of those sides to be covered up a little bit, because everything else won't show. So I'll show you what I mean here. Okay, now let's put our book together. So to put our book together, you can see I've kind of done all of these already. I have them covered. Now you could do 3 envelopes, 4 envelopes, more envelopes, less envelopes, however you want to do it. I think I'm just going to stick with 4 here. I may even only do 3 because I don't need that many pages, and I'm going to add a cover. So that's going to give me kind of 2 more. So let's just start here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one envelope and the other envelope, and we're going to put the top flaps together, and we're going to glue this one envelope into another so that our creases match up and it can fold over. So I'm going to do just what I did there, and I'm going to very carefully add a little bit of glue. You really just need to add it to sort of the edge above your crease there so that it won't come out. And depending on what glue you're using, you might need to, kind of do this quickly so that it doesn't like set up on you before you get them together. And this Fabri-Tac does stay kind of pliable or movable for a little bit, so that's pretty good. Okay, so that's our first step there. Okay, once our first two envelopes are put together and dried a little bit, we're going to add our third envelope by putting it into one of these pockets. Now, if you're going to add more than 3 envelopes, obviously you could put one on this side and one on this side to have your 4 envelopes all together. Or like I'm going to do, I'm just going to put in 1 extra envelope for now. I think 3 is going to be plenty for the lists and things that I have. Hopefully I don't have to do more planning than that. I'll drive myself crazy. Same thing, we're just going to slide it into the envelope here so that our creases line up. And I got a little glue on the edge outside there, so make sure that's taken care of. Okay, so there is our 3 pages. I'm just going to let this dry a minute, and then when we come back, we will continue on here. All right, while my envelopes are drying, I'm going to do my covers. Now, I cut 2 4x6 pieces of cardboard, and these are just from packaging. So from, like a cereal box, or this is like one of those zipper bag boxes. So they're fairly sturdy, they're perfect for what I'm doing. So I cut 4x6 and maybe even just a smidge taller than that, just so it covers the envelopes completely. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this marbled paper here to create my cover. Now, what I like to always do is any side that has a shiny covering to it, I like to just score it with my craft knife, sort of in 2 different directions, so that I can be sure my glue will hold on these when I put the paper on. Now, I'm going to probably start with gluing these sides down. And my marbled paper, I believe, is dark enough that you're not going to be able to see this, coloring on it. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to, I want this to cover both. So I'm going to leave about a 1/2 inch on either end of this paper. So this is an 11 by 8.5 inch piece of paper. So standard US letter size. And then you can see I have a nice big gap in the middle here that I can cut it down with. So that's kind of my goal here, is to use this one piece of paper to cover both of my cover pages, or cover boards, or however you want to say that. Okay. So I'm going to sort of center it between the top and the bottom. Give myself a little, press it down there. And same thing with the other one. And then we'll let this dry as well. These don't have to be, even or anything, because we are going to cut them apart. So those are going to dry there. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper cutter while these are still drying, and I'm just going to guesstimate the center of this page and cut them apart so that I can completely cover each one. Okay, so let's go ahead and let those dry for just a second while we wait before we start covering them. You've probably seen me do this 100 times, but what I'm going to do to cover them each side is I'm just going to cut in a little from one side. I'm going to leave just a tiny bit by the corner there, and then cut off the other side. And this will take away some of the bulk that will be on the paper when we fold it together. So I'm just going to do that on all 4 corners, like so. And then we're going to use our glue. And we're going to do, I'm going to do the short edge first here. So I'm just going to put a little glue right by the cardboard, and then just add, to the rest there. I like putting it near the edge of the cardboard because I want that to really be secured down. We'll make sure our glue isn't running all over the place. So once we have our short edges down, Then we can do the longer edges. And to do the longer edges, I just take my fingernail and I kind of pinch it in right by the edge of the cardboard there, just so it'll fold over nice. So you can see I have a little pinch on both sides there. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to add our glue to the flap and then fold it over and press it down there. Same with this one. Give it a pinch and then fold that over as well. So that will give us a nice cover for our planner. All right, I'm going to do the same thing with this one, but I'm sure that you don't want to watch me do it again. So I'll be right back, and this one will be covered as well. Okay, now that our covers are dry, we're going to just make sure the whole backside is covered. So these are going to be the outside and these are the inside of our cover. And I just cut down 2 pieces of scrapbook paper that were actually the leftover cuts from these envelopes. So I just cut them down so that they were a little bit smaller than my piece, my cover board there. And then we're just going to glue them on. So I want to do this before I put the whole thing together, because we're going to add the covers kind of by using sort of a tab binding method, which you may have seen me do before, but if not, I will link to where I did an entire journal with the tab binding method. I'll link that down below or on the screen there. And then once we have these on, it'll make it easy for us to get our pages in there. So there we go. You can see how precise I am. Okay, I do kind of want these to be lined up fairly, even around there. But now we have our front and back covers, and of course you can decide, which one you would like to be where. And then before I put my tabs on, we just have to adjust this a little bit. And I'm going to move these, but we're going to use some more scrap papers in a minute when we decorate everything. So these are my inside pages that we're going to use. And you can see we sort of have an extra flap here. Now, if you wanted to, you could attach the front cover using that flap as your hinge or your binding if you wanted to there. But I think, and actually you could probably do it in such a way that you could create little pockets here if you wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. So I am just going to, actually, let's go ahead and cut it off. Maybe I'll do it on this side so I don't end up cutting something, cutting my papers there, because I want to use the tab binding. So now I have my pages and they're just sort of, in here all ready to go. Now, to do the tab binding, I'm going to use some of this fabric washi tape. This is Tim Holtz fabric washi tape, but you could certainly use regular washi tape, although you'd have to be careful because it might tear. You could use cardstock if you wanted to. You could just use scraps of fabric that you glued on either side. Any of those things would work for what I'm going to do. So let me just cut this little end off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut about maybe, I don't know, maybe 1.5 inches long tab here. So we're going to cut these at about 1.5 inches or so. And I'm going to cut 3 of them, I think, because the other thing that I'm probably going to do is I'm going to cut these down a little bit and Obviously that doesn't have to be exact. I'm going to cut these in half, long ways. So now I'm going to have 6 strips to use for my tabs. And I'm going to do 3 on the front and 3 on the back. And let me just make sure I have these the way that I want them. So I really love this big marbling there. And actually, maybe I'll leave that up there. Okay, so I think I want that to be my front and this one to be my back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off one of the tabs and I'm going to put one at the top or close to the top and try not to let it get stuck on anything, about halfway or so. And then I'm going to do one in the middle as well. And now this fabric washi tape holds really nicely, but we're also going to add like something to the outside to give it a little bit more sturdiness, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so now this is my back cover. I'm going to flip it over towards me. And then I'm also going to take my papers, because this is my back, and I'm going to flip it over towards me. And then I'm going to put this down on the exposed tape. And I'm going to do it giving myself just a little bit of margin there. Actually, that's what I want to do. So then it will close like that. Okay, so we're going to do that to the front as well. Let me get rid of these papers. So we're going to take one, always have trouble getting these off. Okay. And I'm going to do this time, I'm going to do it to the paper itself, to the front envelope there. But you could do this on your cover board if you wanted to. And put one in the middle, and then one at the top. Or close to the top. Okay, and same thing. I'm going to flip this over towards me, and I'm going to flip this over. Oh no. Let me do that again. So this is going to go here. So we're going to flip them over like this. Yes. Okay. So now I'm going to, once again, put this on, give myself just a little bit, maybe 1/16 of an inch of space there. And now I do have some stickiness exposed here, but that's okay because we're going to cover that. But you can see I have my book and my pages that all seem to work together there, which is exactly what I want. So for my spine, to cover up some of these exposed tape and just the whole inside of it, I grabbed some scrap fabric. And I'm just going to use this to cover the spine there. And it'll give it a nice little edge, which I think will be fun. So since this is pretty small, I mean, I don't even know, it's not even a 1/2 inch. So it's a little over 1/4 of an inch. I could probably tear this down at about 1 inch. And actually, I think I'm going to just line that up, make myself a little cut here at about 1 inch. Maybe I'll do a little bit bigger. And then see if I can tear it, which of course doesn't want to tear for me that easily. Okay, and then I'm just going to get this, the height approximated, and once again try to tear that off. Hopefully tearing on this edge will be easier, but who knows. Let's see. I don't think I cut that good enough. And if you don't like frayed edges like I do, you could just cut it to whatever size that you want. Okay, let's see if I cut it wide enough. Okay, I think I did. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the front edge first to make sure I get it where I want it. And actually, what might even be better, I think I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to see if I can put a little pencil mark where the center is. Let's see if I can, just so I know what I'm doing, because then maybe I could even put the middle down first. Okay, so this is approximately the middle. So I'm just going to make some marks here that hopefully I can see. Oops, while I'm doing this. So we'll start with the center. And when I'm doing fabric and Fabri-Tac, I do like to kind of spread things out with my finger. So I'm going to just place that right on the center, or as close as I can get to the center there. Okay. Now we're going to do our edges. So this was my front, and I see that when I'm looking at it, it does look like I'm not quite centered, like I might have a little bit more on the front than the back, but I'm actually okay with that. I'm going to do the back first, and I'm just going to, might even be easier to put a little glue on the book itself. And then spread with my finger, maybe just press that down. Yeah, I think that worked pretty well. And we'll do the same thing here. Give myself a little glue. I'm going to try not to go over where it would be folded down. I'm going to spread this out a little. And then we'll fold that side down. Let's see how we did. I love it. All right, my book spine is all dry and my book is all put together. I'm so excited how it's coming together, and now it's time to do some decorating. So I went ahead and cut out some pockets, and I decided I thought it would be fun to add sort of a stepped pocket on this side. So I just cut out 2 pockets. They have the same notch in them there, and then I'm just going to glue them down so that they kind of overlap one another like that. And then I have this torn top piece of paper, and I left it that way. I thought that looked kind of fun, that I'm going to use for my back pocket there. So first I'm going to glue those down, and I'm going to start with the back pocket. And when you glue a pocket down, you just glue the 3 sides, and I'm going to try to do this relatively carefully to keep the pocket as big as I can, because if you end up gluing and your line of glue kind of goes into the pocket, then it's going to obviously take away on the size of the pocket. So, and I'm also going to make sure that anything I glue down over these little fabric washi tape strips, I make sure I press down pretty well, since it's a different height. You know, there's a little bit of a bump there. So I just want to be sure everything gets glued down nice and firmly on top of those washi tape strips there. All right, so now I'm going to, because this one isn't going to go all the way down to the bottom, I just need to be sure I don't, like, you know, end up gluing it up here or something, which I think I can manage. So it looks like if I start with this first one, about halfway in between those 2, that will work out nice. And what I may do for this one is I'm not going to glue this bottom, so that anything I put in that pocket will go all the way through to this one at the bottom. So I'm just going to glue these 2 sides for this top portion of this stacked pocket. But I'm going to try to do the same thing. I'm just going to try to make sure I get that bead of glue just along the edge as close as I can. And there we go. And then when you're cutting these out, I kind of cut these the same width as the papers. I just made sure they were a little smaller than the cover itself, so that I'm not gluing right up to the edge. And then this bottom one, obviously I'm going to do the 3 corners. Now that's getting really thick. Let's see if I can, if I had some art glitter glue, this might be a great place to use that, but I do not. So we're just going to do the best we can with what we have. And once again, make sure that the glue, or sorry, the pocket over top of those washi tape strips are put down nice and tight there. Okay. And then we'll probably do some tags or something in here in a minute, but I want to be sure I have those all on. And now what I'm going to do is I cut out all of my lists from the freebie, and I did distress ink the edges a little bit just so they were distressed, but you can see I did cut around just with a little bit of an edge around the entire thing. And based on our book, these should fit in here on the page just perfectly. So with a nice little border there. So now I just need to decide what I want to be sort of first. And I think, let's see, I might do my to-dos first because I want to be able to find them quickly. And then, let's see, I'm just going to go through and do the whole thing. So I don't want my shopping list. I think I'm going to do my menu items. So I have my drinks and my appetizers and my, oh wait, no. Let's see. Let's do drinks and appetizers, mains and sides. So these are specific lists. I may not even put that one in there. And then obviously I need to have my shopping list. Well, you know what? We're going to do shopping list very last because that'll be easy to find there. And then we'll do desserts here. Oops, here. And I think I'm going to, instead of menu, because I think I want to, that sort of covers the menu, the 3 that I put in there. I'm just going to cut out a blank one and use that on this side. All right, I have one of my blank lists here, and I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to use it for, but I like how I have all of my lists now set up on my books. So we'll just start from the beginning, and I'm just going to go through, and I'm going to glue these all in, so then they'll be ready for me to start using. Let's see if I can... All right. And this is all I'm going to do for each one. I'm just going to try to center them in the page fairly well. Just like that. And move on to the next one. All right, starting to come together. Now I think we can add some of our cutouts. So I cut out some of the fussy cuts onto clear paper, and I thought, or clear sticker paper, and I thought they would work good on the lists so that, you know, I would still have room to write and things like that. So let's see, I'm going to find one that I like here. Let's go with... I don't know, I really like this little orange thing here. So I think that might be fun to add there. So let me see if I can get the sticker paper off. There we go. And so this should kind of just show up kind of light on top of there. I love the way that looks. All right, and then I can probably, let's see, maybe we'll put some of the flowers on here because I know that my drinks and appetizers, I'm not going to have a ton of those. So maybe I'll just kind of keep this in the middle like that. And I can write around it if I want to. Now I'm going to have more mains and sides, so maybe we should go with something thin over here, and maybe I'll just do that up there. Actually, I kind of like that. Kind of just hanging off a tree there. And once again, let's see if I can, oh, there we go. Get that sticker off of there. And if I kind of put it a little bit sideways. That really gives me some room to write around that. So just because this is these stickers are a little bit slick, I don't know if I write on them, if the writing will come off of them. So I just need to be careful with that. And then we have desserts, and maybe I will add a pumpkin to my desserts page. Maybe we'll put that one in the, whoops, on the bottom in the middle. And try not to let your stickers go where you don't want them to go, like I just did. But I think that worked out okay. And then on the page where I don't have anything, let's go ahead and put this big flower over there. Yeah, I think over here might be the best place to have that. So this might end up being sort of a second to my shopping list, since that might get pretty long. But I will, if I decide to do that, I will just add the words up to the top, you know, on whatever kind of list this could be. So I was thinking it could be maybe a gratitude list, or if I need to, it can be a secondary shopping list, since I might end up filling that up. But let's go ahead and put this little butterfly on here. And then, let's see, where do we want to put that? Maybe I'll just put that in the corner down here. Cute little fall colored butterfly there. And this one is also on the clear things, but I'll let that go for just a minute. And then I want to kind of just figure out what I'm going to do. Now these, and I think, oh, this one might be on the, this one might also be on the clear. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's see if I can figure that out. Yeah, that one's also on clear. So I'll leave these two. These are on clear. These ones, that I cut out on white sticker paper. And then I just added a little bit of, because you can see the edge, I just added a little bit of Distress ink around there to kind of make them look a little bit more vintage. Okay, so we have to decide what we're going to do with these. And I thought I would decorate the pockets a little bit. So let's take a look. I might have to cut out some more things. That's actually pretty cute there. And then we could maybe do a little apple up here, or even we could tuck this apple in a little. Actually, that's pretty fun, isn't it? And then maybe this back pocket. Let's see what I have left. So I have a whole bunch of things left, and I used a lot of them already, but I don't mind using things again. So maybe I'll use this acorn over here. And then also maybe what I'll do is I'll grab a little bit of book page just to add something in here, or some fabric or something to add a little bit more to this. So we can kind of decide. Now, I haven't cut this out. This is on the clear paper, but I just want to see how, if I line this up, how we might do that. And maybe this will go on top there. I don't know. Let me cut this out and we'll see what we're going to do with that. All right. I took a little time and I figured out the back, but let's go ahead and put these on. Now these are, okay. These are on clear stickers. You can see there's no, they're not see-through. But this sticker works better on, you know, this patterned paper here. So that's good. It's fun having stuff printed out on both sides. And then I just tucked that one in just a little bit there. I think that's fun. So I still have room for my tags to go in. And then on the back, I did pull out, I actually cut out some different ones. I wasn't crazy about getting these two together on there for some reason. I just couldn't get them to look the way I wanted to. And maybe I can still add the pair up here above the, what is this called? Pocket. So actually I'm going to go ahead and do that. And since it's a sticker, it just fits right down on there. Now I did tear some of an old book page up to put on top of here, and I found this little orange strip of fabric, and I thought that would be fun, just kind of peeking out of the back there. And then I'm going to put this on here, and then this just overlapping just a little bit onto the pumpkin. So I do need to, these are stickers, but I do need to glue these things down. So let's grab my glue again, and I'm just going to put just a little bit of glue on this. I don't mind if the ends kind of stick up a little. I just think that adds, you know, a little texture there, a little fun. And then this I will glue down most of the way, pretty close to the edges here. I don't really want that coming up. And you can see I did distress this page a little bit because it was pretty white compared to everything else I got going on there. And then we'll add our pumpkin. And it looks like the distress ink is all over my fingers. Okay, we'll put that just about in the middle. And let's see if I can pull this one up. That came up easier than I thought, which is wonderful. And we'll put that right on top of there. Now we have a nice, I think I might need to add just a little bit more glue on this fabric here. Just seems like it's pulling up a little too much. So we'll add a little bit more in there. All right, and then let's let things dry and we'll finish up. Okay, I wanted to do a little bit more on the cover before I finished up, and I thought that this would be a good way to incorporate this little group of berries in here. And I found this label actually from another freebie I had done, where I did a little tag book so that you could document what happened through COVID. And it's actually a freebie that's still out there. So if you would like that freebie, or you would like this little label that I created in that freebie, you can go to madpapercrush.com/documenting, and you can grab that too. But I thought this actually looked pretty nice on here, and I thought if I added in this little guy that it would be really fun. So I'm going to see if I can figure out how to add glue as well as this sticker and see what we can do. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue to this little, and this is not a sticker, I just had printed it out on regular paper. And then this is a sticker. So let's see if we can incorporate the two of them, since I want to kind of overlay the label on top of the sticker there, so that they're incorporated together. That worked out pretty good. And it does get a little bit lost in the marble there, but I kind of like the way it looks there. And I think that list is a little crooked, so hopefully that straightened that out a little bit. All right, and now this is a perfect little book for me to keep track of everything I'm doing for my Thanksgiving dinner. And this would be great to use for any holiday dinner that you could, you know, keep information on. And then this would be sort of a great little memento to kind of remember what you did as well. So you could even use some of these empty lists maybe for just, you know, documenting later how the day went or something like that. Or you could even add in some tags to this to, you know, put in some more words around, you know, what happened during your holiday or something like that. So I hope you enjoyed this little fun craft on making a meal planner journal that you can tuck right into a purse or a bag so that you have it with you all the time, and then use it to make sure your day goes just the way you want it to go. Thank you so much for joining me, friends. And don't forget to grab the Harvest Plan freebie. Just go to madpapercrush.com/harvest plan, and you can grab that too. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.